Jessica, I can't hear you.
Sorry.
Ah, that's better.
My microphone had just been bumped off.
Oh, okay.
All right. Okay. So we're going to start kneeling and just kind of come into your breath. Just feel your inhale come in and out of your nose just for a couple of breaths, and then we'll get some movement in with it. But just let yourself arrive. And gently open your eyes. Just drop your arms kind of by your sides and then flex your wrists as if you're pushing into the floor, but you don't quite reach it. And then as you inhale, reach forward all the way up toward the ceiling. So it's like you're pushing on your ceiling. And then make your hands into fists and flex your fists forward. So you're really flexing through your wrists, and then drop your hands and reach them back. And we're just going to do those movements. So extending through your wrists like you're pushing, and then flexing through your wrists with the fists and swing back. So feel the movement in your shoulders, feel that extension through your wrists and the effort through your forearms. And try to keep your spine neutral. So those low front ribs down, even as you reach your shoulders overhead. So even if your arms don't go straight up, that's fine. Let's just do one more of those and just kind of feel that warmth through your wrists. Lean back, and then we'll go ahead and come forward into a table. You can find some circles here. Just moving around and go the other way. And then find a neutral place and just start to move through cat and cow at your own pace. It can be fast or slow, whatever it feels like would warm up through your spine. You could imagine that every time you initiate the movement from a different place. So maybe one round you feel like you're initiating from your tailbone. And then another round you feel like you're initiating from the crown of your head. And maybe you can think of just letting it happen and radiating out right from the center. Just bringing some awareness into your spine here. And then find a neutral place. So right in between those two extremes. So if we had something, could set it right on your sacrum. And then just step your right foot back, leg long, and tuck your toes. And then just find some circles of your ankle, just kind of smushing through that ankle. Around one way and then the other. And then bring this knee into your chest and just start to draw some circles on the floor with your kneecap. So they don't need to be big, huge circles. And then you can start to let them get bigger and switch directions. And then kind of make figure eights with that knee. And see if you can kind of reverse your figure eight shape. Just warming up through that hip joint. And then we'll take that right foot and step it outside your right hand. And just bend and swirl into your low lunge here. You can hula hoop through your hips. And then we'll straighten and bend that front leg. You can connect this to your breath however feels good for you. I'm up on my fingertips. Maybe hands on blocks would feel good too. It's the beginning of practice. So for me, my hamstrings feel really tight here, but just moving back and forth. Next time you come forward, stay there. Ground through your left hand and just inhale your right arm up for a twist. And then as you exhale, just take your right fingers and thread them past your left rib cage and reach out to your left. I'm just going to open and twist. Open and reach past. Next time you come up, stay up and then imagine someone's pulling that right hand to bring you into a big open upright twist. And then you can lean back a little bit, reach up through that left arm, and then swim yourself down, ground that right hand, and then thread that, left hand, sorry, thread your right hand underneath you. So now we'll just flow here. Reach back and ground that hand, reach up, and then twist. Open, reach, ground, and twist. Open up, last time, reach back. Ground that left hand, ground your right hand, step back into your table and push back into a child's pose. Just kind of check in from one side to the other. You can breathe into your low back. Your hips don't have to come all the way to your heels. And then slide forward onto your belly. Hands along the widest part of your chest. Draw your elbows in. Push into your pubic bone and just lift up a tiny amount, your head and chest. Turn to the right, your head to the right, and then lower your right cheek to the floor. And then lift your head. Just look the other way and lower your other cheek to the floor. And just go back and forth there a few times. And push into your pubic bone. When you lift your head and chest, next time lift both legs and then lower down. Just going cheek to cheek and just getting a little bit of engagement through the back side of your body. The next time left cheek comes to the floor, I want you to bend through your right knee and just lift that right thigh up off the floor. Push into your right hand and then drop that right foot toward the floor behind you. Just a little twist there. And then come back and you'll just switch sides. Lift your head, turn to the other cheek, bend that left knee, push into your left hand to kind of roll onto that right side and maybe tap those left toes to the floor. So just side to side here. Back and forth. And just go one more time, each direction. And then we'll make our way back to hands and knees. Find your cat and cow again. Just find a few breaths there. Just 1 or 2 cycles. Find your neutral spine. Take those left toes back. Push back through that left heel and find those ankle smush swirls there. Really finding some pressure and loading it in all different directions. And then switch directions and go around the other way. And bend that left knee in towards your chest and just make some circles with that left knee. And you can let those get bigger and bigger and switch directions. And then figure eights. Just really articulating through that hip joint. So your pelvis is stable, your spine is stable, your arms are straight, and you're just moving in that left hip. And then bring that left foot around to step outside your left hand. And find any movement here. Just move through your pelvis, circling your hips around. And then straighten and bend that left leg. I'm on my fingertips for this part. And you don't have to worry about whether or not you want to point or flex that left foot either way, or you can do both. And then find your lunge, plant through that right hand, and inhale to lift your left arm up. Exhale, find a twist, just thread those left fingertips past your right rib cage. And peel yourself open, and then twist. Peel yourself open and twist. The next time you lift that left arm, imagine someone's pulling those left fingertips up. So you come to a big, wide open twist, and then you can reach back. Reach your right arm up, right hand down, left hand threads through. So just at your own pace, just flow there. And last time. Plant that left hand, push back into a child's pose. Just check in, see if it's different from one side to the other. If you feel more balanced this time, feel some more freedom in your hips, your lower back, and then slide forward again onto your belly. And just right away, find those twists. So you can look to the right, bend that right knee, and push into your right hand to kind of touch that right foot down. Do that one time on each side, and then we'll add on. So as you look to the right, push into that right hand, bend that right knee, you can push yourself all the way up to a seat. So you've got like a Z legs. And then just roll back, come onto your belly, and then we'll go to the other way. So you'll push into that left hand, bend that left knee behind you, then come up to sit the other way. Okay, go back and forth. One more time. And then you can add in a little more of a twist. Maybe as you twist to your right, you grab that right hand behind you and reach your left arm around. And you can let this be a little bit different every time you come around. You could reach one arm alongside your ear to find a side bend. But just finding these rolling patterns. And just fluidly moving and stretching. And it's super good work for the reflexive nature of our core without having to say or think, okay, I'm going to engage my core. This is good training for your brain. And then maybe as you come up, the leg you reach comes straight and you fold over it like a Janu Sirsasana. And you can do that a few times. There's really no right and wrong. We're just rolling around. Can maybe feel silly. Super good. Let's go one more time on each side. We'll end on our bellies. And then draw your elbows in, feel like you're pulling your hands back, and just come up into a cobra that you'll hold for a couple of breaths. So let your shoulder blades come toward each other on your back and feel like you're dragging your palms back without moving them anywhere. And really push into the tops of your feet. Lengthen through your lower back. And then make your way to downward facing dog. Find your downward facing dog. You can pedal your legs out. And sway your hips from side to side. And then from here, step your right foot forward between your hands, ground your left knee, and inhale up into a low lunge. And just pause. Exhale, come halfway forward and bring your hands alongside your hips. Tuck your back toes and lift that back knee. Now we're going to come to standing balance on this right foot with our left knee lifted. So you're going to push into your right heel and just come all the way up to standing, lift that left knee. Now from here, I'm going to keep my right foot as it is. Try to have your pelvis level, turn to face you. And we're just going to turn that left knee out to the left and then back to center and out and center. So the work is happening here in this right hip. And then when you open out to the left next time, take a big step back and find warrior two here. And just let yourself open into your warrior two. Inhale and reverse your warrior. And then exhale into side angle pose. Bring your right elbow to that right thigh. Lengthen left arm alongside your ear. Imagine you're holding a plate, a tray on that right hand. And then externally rotate. So push your thumb away from you and then just drop back in. And just go back and forth. So really pushing through that thumb side, really externally rotating. Just pivoting on your elbow, on your knee. One more time. Come on up, straighten both. Parallel your feet. You're going to turn your left toes out just a little bit and bend into that left knee. Come down as far as you can to feel stable, and then come back up through center and bend through that right knee. We'll just go back and forth. Go to that left side, plant your hands, turn to your left and ground your right knee. You're on your low lunge on the other side. Inhale, reach high. Tuck those back toes. You can pause here. And then exhale, halfway forward, hands by your hips. Lift your back knee. Inhale to that stand, knee balance. Right knee up. Hands to your hips, and then just open that right knee out to the right, and then back to center. Out to the right, and back to center. That one more time, out to the right, back to center. And this time as you twist open, bend into that left knee, step your right foot back. Find your warrior two. Inhale and reverse. Exhale, side angle pose with your elbow on your left thigh. And find some leverage there so you've got space between your shoulder and your ear. Externally rotate that left arm and then bring it back. And externally rotate and bring it back. Externally rotate, bring it back. Do that one more time. Externally rotate, bring it back, and then swim yourself up to standing parallel those feet. And then right toe slightly to the right. Bend into that right knee. Up and over to the left. Up and over to the right again. And then ground your hands. Find that low lunge on the right. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, halfway forward. Tuck those back toes. Lift your back knee. Inhale, standing balance. Bring that knee up. And then turn out left. And then back forward. Out to the left. and forward. So your right foot stays grounded, out to the left, and forward. This time, bring your hands by your hips. I'm gonna push that left heel straight back to come into a warrior 3. And then bend into your right knee, step back into a high lunge. So just ground through the left ball of your left foot. Reach high. And now we're gonna find that same pivoting in our hip. We're gonna move from this high lunge and then ground your heel and open to warrior 2. And then pivot into that high lunge and then open into warrior 2. Pivot into your high lunge. Open into your warrior 2. Pause there. Inhale, reverse. Side angle pose. I'm going to reach down for that right inner ankle. Up through center. And then find that spidey pose toward your left. And then up and over toward the right. Up and over toward the left. And then just turn to find your low lunge. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, halfway forward. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. Inhale, come up to standing. Lift that right knee. And then shift it out to the right. And then come to the left. Back to center, I guess. I should say right. Back to center. Out to the right. And back to center. Out to the right. Back to center. Hands by your hips and that right leg back into a warrior 3. Bend into that left knee, ground your right toes. Inhale, reach high and high lunge. And then ground your right heel, open into warrior 2. And then pivot back into your high lunge. And then warrior 2. And then high lunge. And then warrior 2. One more pivot. High lunge. Open yourself out. Inhale, reverse. Exhale into a side angle pose. Inhale up through center. Parallel those feet, then turn those right toes out. Bend into that right knee. Up. And bend into that left knee. Up. Bend into that right knee. Turn into your low lunge. Go through this one more time. Shaking it up just a little. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, halfway forward. Lift that back knee. Inhale, up to standing balance. And then just twice. Pivot out and in. And out and in. This time, pivot out and find your warrior 2. And just pause there. Inhale to reverse your warrior to a floating half moon. You're not going to touch the floor, block, or anything. So reach that right arm forward and just slide this left foot in and lift it any amount. And you can bend or straighten this right leg as much as you need to. I'm just going to keep my left hand on my left hip. Now I'm open out to the left. My left toes are pointing to the left. And then I'm going to pivot into warrior 3. So now my toes are pointing to the floor. My pelvis is square to the floor. Open into that half moon shape. And then pivot. And just try that one more time. Open out. Pivot down. Open out and then step back into your warrior 2. Straighten both legs. Bend into your left knee. Come on up. Bend into your right knee. Come on up. Bend into your left knee. Find your low lunge on the left side. Inhale to reach high. Exhale, halfway forward, lift that back knee. Inhale, up to standing. Pivot, open that right knee to the right and back. Pivot, open that right knee to the right and back. This time, as you pivot open, step that right foot back into your warrior two. And reverse your warrior. Then we'll find that floating half moon. So just reach that left arm forward, slide that right leg in, and then float. My left foot's wobblier. Float that right leg up. And then play with shifting into warrior three and back to that half moon. And you don't have to be, parallel with the floor, your torso. It can be any amount. Just pivoting back and forth there. And try one more. Open into that half moon and then step back into your warrior two. Straighten both legs. Bend into that right knee. Come through center. Bend into that left knee. Come through center. Parallel your feet. Squeeze an imaginary beach ball behind your back. Find some engagement through your hamstrings. So just a little bend in your knees as you fold. And then you can let your hands come wherever they want to come. And just collect yourself in your standing forward fold. If in your fold you want to play with that bending one knee and then the other, feel free. Just be here for one more breath. And then just toe heel your feet toward each other. We're just going to make our way onto our backs. Hold on to the backs of your thighs. Just gently roll yourself down. Knees bent, feet flat on the floor. And find a bridge pose. Just lift your hips. Point your tailbone toward your knees. You might interlace fingers underneath you. Feel like you're dragging your heels back toward your shoulders. And feel the strength through your hamstrings and your glutes in a way that's really supportive, not rigid. And then gently release, lower yourself down. Feel the wiper your knees from side to side. Stop in the center, hug your right knee into your chest, let your left leg go long. And then use your left hand to take that right knee over to the left and then look to your right. You can kind of find a nice line of tension. Just reach that right arm to a place that feels good. And trying to keep your right shoulder grounded. And come back to center. Hug that left knee in, lengthen your right leg. And then right hand just pulls that left knee over. And find your twist here. And then come back to center. Find any last movements that you need to feel complete. Set your spine symmetrically. Happy baby. You can grab your outer feet. Try to ground your tailbone toward the floor as your knees come outside of your rib cage. And then make your way Down to your rest. Take at least 10 breaths in your Shavasana. Just letting yourself settle, feeling the warmth of your body. I hope that was fun. Got you warmed up for the day. The divine light in me honors the divine light in you. Namaste. Have a fun day.